So this week, at the end of the week, let me think so it's the 17th today, and we're gonna do your channeled messages and tarot reading for the week ahead. Have I got it wrong? No. So next Sunday, I'm looking for the calendar. Next Sunday, we have the Virgo new moon. And this is the prelude to the eclipse season coming for us. Now, eclipses are often really dynamic, powerful changes. And there's a lot of outer planet activity. The Saturn and Neptune conjunction is really dissolving old structures internally and externally with Neptune there, right? So Neptune is like the vast ocean, I would say the unified infinite body of our entire creative field. And Saturn is like the earthly material, the structures, you could even say a lot of our systems of control. And so Neptune is really working its magic to dissolve the structures that are not upholding our future, right? Because as much as things might look doom and gloom, to me personally, the astrology is actually pointing to a greater transformation en masse. Uranus in Gemini is going to be expanding our minds collectively and also expanding our ability to communicate. Pluto is transforming our ability to be authentic and also to use technology in an optimal way. But of course, remember that we're always going to see the polarity and or the kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. So greater people trying to control. We're seeing this now, a kind of usurping of our autonomy through technology. So it's something to be really aware of, and hence where and how and why our ancient spiritual practices and divination tools are so powerful. And not to mention just hanging out in nature. I'm hearing a shout out to John Beanie about that because I've seen a few of his shares about just walking in the woodland and hugging trees and connecting to the sky. So our ability to connect to nature, our ability to stay grounded, and I know for sure I'm getting that hit so profoundly, like no matter what happens, just stay in that center, and for the most part, a lot of our routines and a lot of our kind of structures for some of us here are what they are. As in, you're already doing the outdoors, you're already hanging out outside, you're already aligning with some of your tribe and some of your people, right? So I am hearing with the cards, divine guidance and loving clarity, we're getting some messages coming through the cards now. Divine guidance, loving clarity. If you're new here, my Patreons get ad-free first access. They do get access to some exclusive content and the Be the Change online courses. Top tier patrons get 10% discount when they work with me. And I think that's it. And check out, the T-Mill store. You can see the shop items underneath this video. And then you can go to my website and check out buying the book or the Be the Change online courses if you're not wanting to sign up to Patreon. With Patreon, obviously, there's a 7-day free trial, and it's freedom. You can cancel anytime as well. So let's get into the cards. I'm just opening my mind. I'm endeavoring to hear if there's any other messages. Really, the most profound message is that kind of staying grounded and staying centered and trusting the unfolding. I was getting a little hit too about how we think we know. And so this linear paradigm, right? This construct, as it were, that we've constructed over the ages, of linearity and separation. We think we know. We think, oh yeah, this is my life and I'm going in this direction. But that's part of the whole mystery of it, is that we don't. And although there's an energetic field or signature that can open us up to kind of Sensing, for example, greater earthly activity, earthquakes, tsunamis, storms, floods, right? Like the fires that are raging all over Canada. This is just ongoing transformation as our consciousness is expanding and morphing and changing, because that is truth. There's a constant to the ongoing change. And so the more we can let go and open our mind and liberate ourselves from thinking we know or fixing too much in place, that's really going to help with the Neptune and Saturn conjunction. It's like completely surrendering and trusting that you will be guided, that you will be shown the way as far as like what the structures are that you really need. And also like trusting in our ability to access joy, love, and that those are states of being that we can access from within self, right? From within our own heart. That's part of this healing journey, right? I definitely remember writing that bit in the Fearless Life Guide of you sometimes have to do a lot of repetition to continue to reprogram your mind and remind yourself that you have the ability to experience joy, that is your divine birthright. And that true abundance and new paradigm energy is access to that freedom, play, joy, curiosity, and open mind, right? Versus the kind of seriousness of the enslavement pattern or that fear paradigm. So having greater mastery over our mind and over our energy is part of the new wealth, right? Like what more and more and more people are wanting access to are the tools and the things that help us master ourselves, right? Know thyself. It's the ultimate teaching. Treat others as we would have them treat us, which is why there's increasing rising and protesting with regards to imbalanced wars and or just outright massacres, right? Like people are just not here for it. And truly remembering that that it's individuals, that it's people that have power, that the great illusion are these constructs that would have us, that's the Piscean age that we're moving out of, is that there is some higher up that is going to do good by us when we act like this, i.e. when we conform and we behave in a certain way. It truly is the true religion or spirituality is our reverence to the heart space and the earth herself. This is why getting connected to nature and or learning from natives, people who have not lost their connection to the planet, because a lot of the fracture in our culture is the fact that we have been disconnected from nature for generations. So the shadow work is sort of like the insert into a more harmonious and aligned intelligence with the greater whole, including Earth. That we are the divine intelligence. That internet and technology, it's fun, and it's clearly a part of our evolutionary gateway. But always remembering that the divine intelligence and the knowing comes from within self, not via the phones, not via other people. Something is just coming in about like savior complex, but also a desire to be saved, and that there's nuance there too, because we are saved and we are held and we are it's having the mental discernment to discern the program, and remembering that love, romance to a certain degree is a program. That and there again, it's so fascinating because programming feels real. Like when we're in love, and it's only when we really do the emotional work and we start deconstructing the program that it becomes more obvious that it's programmed in us to keep seeking these programs to be accepted by the society, by the culture, by the program that wants us to fit in and be good little worker bees or slaves or what have you. So there's a lot of transformational energy, divine guidance, loving clarity. Let's get some cards for you guys. Divine guidance and loving clarity. This is the week ahead. Now, whenever there's lunations, obviously there's a little bit of a focus, and especially this month because it's a prelude, or even this week, it's a prelude to the Virgo new moon, and there's 2 Virgo lunations. So, so we have the Virgo new moon, and then we have the Pisces eclipse, and then we're back to the very end degrees of Virgo. And this lunation in the 0 degree of Virgo is tightly conjuncting Regulus, and Regulus is like a royal star at the last degree of Leo, and this would be indicative of new royalty. There again, we are opening up our spiritual awareness, and there's greater and greater love and divinity being ushered into our world, and more people finding those loving creators, right? So royal stars are being born, and royal stars are being made known. Global empires, I'm hearing. Global empires, the world. Wow. Divine guidance, love and clarity. Let's get in. Let's get in. Divine guidance and love and clarity. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much to my Patreons who support the channel and support me. Wow. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune and the World card. So major arcana. Hi, this is major. This is significant. And again, other astrologers are definitely pointing to this double Virgo. You know, Virgo's attention to detail. The shadow of Virgo could be like martyrdom, perfectionism, being overly critical of ourselves and other. Of course, it depends also where Virgo is in your birth chart. So yeah, this could be a heavy duty month for transformation, big changes. I said it a few weeks ago, but like detoxing, doing big clear out in our home spaces. You know, it's coming to the end of summer. Kids, depending on where you are in the world, like a lot of the kids are going to be going back to school. So there's changes, and we're moving with those changes. But with the double Virgo, I think this month ahead through to the beginning of fall or autumn, around September 21st, where we get that next Virgo lunation, and that's when we're in the eclipse portal. So the eclipse portal is definitely going to be transformative, and especially with the double Virgo moon, it's like we're gonna see the end of old cycles like just falling away as we prepare, but also open up for our future fundamentally. And it really is like a beautiful unfolding. Like there's more opportunity, there's more wonderment, there's more expansion, there's more awakening, and yet we're always holding space for the opposite end of the spectrum. Delusion, fear, doomsday, you know, it's the end, it's all coming crashing down. And there's a lot of atrocity, there's a lot of, you know, really painful stuff going on. And that's part of the role of an awakened empath, to be able to process that pain and move through it and keep grounding in to the heart and soul of the planet. And the purpose here is to just be yourself. There's something ending there, or ended. So King of Wands reverse, fire sign reverse, King of Wands, that you can switch up the genders depending on your point of attraction. There's been a lot of grief here, or even denied grief. Maybe it's somebody not wanting to process the emotion, not wanting to do that work. And so the world, and always depending on like what direction they're looking in, but this world card is like looking back. So this is a completion. Double Virgo into the eclipse season, we're closing it out. It's like, if you're going to avoid your emotions, if you're going to deny this, that, or the other, I'm not here for it. So the closing out of these long-standing karmic patterns is a big part of stepping into the Wheel of Fortune, which is when good stuff starts to come in. Why is it good? As in, it's bound to feel better because you're closing out the Five of Cups. You're closing out grief and or also overworking, having to work too hard, or you're just putting the work in to close out these chapters and step into like, what now, universe? You know, like, what have you got for me now? Hey, look, my mug and my top match. I had to go to Exeter Friday for a biometric appointment. I have an indefinite leave to remain. Things are switching over to the digital, and because I moved recently, I needed some code, but I'm having to go through immigration to get it. It's just, anyway, I made a night of it, and I booked a hotel with a pool, and I went to a really lovely vegan restaurant and hung out with my mom. And where was I going with this? Oh, we went charity shopping, and mother got me this, and I got a few cute little items, which is a nice treat. You guys know, for me, part of the brand is to do as little new shopping. I literally buy everything secondhand, and all the furniture is either my mother's furniture or purchased secondhand. All my clothes are always secondhand, because I just think we need to step off of this sort of endless consumerist profit over people. What's that word? Planned obsolescence, like throwaway culture. It's like, no. And the thing is with charity shopping, it's like, it's still, you're buying stuff, you know, you still get the fix, you could say. And if anything, I'm still working on that impulsivity to like want to shop. I find myself like, I can only hang around consumerist like town centers and stuff for so long before I get quite overwhelmed. But is anyone else like that? Like, do you kind of max out with regards to shopping? Yeah, it's not really my bag. Never has been. Even as a young kid, I was always like, ooh, let's go play. I don't want to be in a shopping mall, you know? The Ace of Spades. We have the Ace of Birds. That's a new idea. That's a fresh start. I mean, there's definitely like completion. I do. Okay, so like the completion, you're working hard to let go of the past. That is clearing the mind to allow for new ideas, or new ideas to come to you. That's changing the game with the Wheel of Fortune. Some of you might be like praying more. There's something about being led. It's like, instead of you having to push forward, there's something about like getting on your knees, praying to God, and knowing that you're going to be led to the promised land, which, you know, that to me is your fulfilled life, your tribe, your dream people, right? There's also something in that Nine of Trees about like praying to the Earth Mother, praying to the womb of creation. There's a tree, there's a snake connecting to Earth and your own serpent energy, your own creative kundalini, and or sexual energy, that creative elixir from within you, like digging in to feel that and praying to the earth herself to guide you to where you're meant to go. And it's like, it's there. It's not there. You know, the path is opening. The path is opening itself up to you. Okay, so the World card is definitely completing cycles. because we have Ace of Birds, so that's a sword energy, new ideas, and Ace of Cups. So it might just be because Four of Cups is often like when we're lingering on the past, or we're lingering on the things we've lost, the relationships that didn't work out. And then usually in the Four of Cups, there's like this other cup, but we can't see it or perceive it because we're focusing on, and this, okay, so we've come out of some really deep emotional work, and we're just at the precipice of suddenly look, oh, there it is. Look, there's a new energy coming in. There's a new cup. There's a renewal of love. A renewal of love coming into the heart of creation, my lovers. Earlier, I was actually meditating, and then I decided to tune into the cards for myself, which I have not done in probably about 5 years. Like earnestly sinking in and asking the cards questions, and that that sort of cup energy and the renewal energy was really coming in. Like that thing is over, that thing is done, let it be done, and let yourself be renewed, let yourself receive the new, right? We're not here to control it, we're here to surrender control and be open and present to life. That was it, the renewal. But really, one of the cards was higher purpose and speaking from the heart. And that's so profound to me, because really this whole brand, All to Love, is this deep connection from within self that has worked through a lot to just share openly, and to share transparently, and to share honestly, and share from the heart, from a place of deep love, where the violence, the cruelty, the oppression is so painful to a loving heart that it's the pain that regenerates us and helps us to keep showing up in who we are and who we're destined to be, right? That's also why I think astro is so fascinating. It's like written in the stars, you know? So you're working on it. There's some of you probably want to commit more deeply to your like your spiritual practices. When I see that card in the reverse, it's like, you know, we're committed, we have an awareness of our spiritual practices, but we might be kind of falling off a bit. We might not be as and I've had that. I've had clients reach out. I've had friends reach out, be like, oh my God, I need to meditate more, or I need to, you know, and we all ebb and flow with it, you know? So no, this isn't about being hard on yourself, but this is sometimes about redirecting our energy to be in a more lovingly disciplined, day-to-day vibratory. So the reverse is, who are you? It may sound like an abrupt question, but it's one you should be asking yourself every day. When we don't ask ourselves who we are, we take on versions of ourselves that other people sized us for. In truth, you are not your personality. That is a temporary and ever-changing facade you use to interact with the outside world. This is the time to go deeper into the very nature of the self. This self is beyond personality quizzes or even doshas. This self is the infinite soul, one that exists across experiences, bodies, personalities, and even lifetimes. Regain touch with this deep-seated self by doing things that make you forget who you are. Meditate, dance, chant mantras, spend time immersed in nature, move past the mind. You will notice your personality quickly shifts and anchors into your truth when you've reunited with your soul. That's actually really beautiful with the other cards, because so it's like, maybe for some of you, there's been an attachment to the pain, the struggle, the losses, woe is me, so-and-so never works out, or this never works out, or this always happens. But knowing that we're closing out long-standing patterns, we're cycling it out, you know, we're putting this boundary up, we're going, okay, I'm going to move in this direction, and I'm going to let the universal life forces themselves kind of take the reins and move my life into that next timeline, as it were. And you're praying, you're digging in deep, right? You're recommitting to your spiritual practices here. You're asking yourself the question, who am I? Who am I now? Right? Like, who am I destined to be? And not being attached to any of it. There is potentially still some grief here to be processed, okay? Be aware of anything that compromises your integrity. Because from A Course in Miracles, like true spiritual liberation, we can't compromise our integrity, you know. And that's where it can potentially feel quite intense or cruxy, is that we have to let go of things that compromise our sense of self. And that's where it's constantly changing, it's constantly moving, right? This card, the Pisces energy, sensitize, come up earlier as well. And I'm getting that both as a conscious effort, but also something that is happening to us as a collective. Like, we are becoming more sensitive, we are becoming more aware, we are becoming more 5D or whatever, more whole. Because to be connected to the planet and the nature and the cosmos, we have to be sensitive to it, which that was what was banished, right, in the kind of rise of colonialist, imperialist, capitalist patriarchy, right? A lot of it was about demonizing our sensitivity and demonizing our heart-centered humanness, so that we could get things moving, so that we could fit into these structures, right, of power over, and surrender our power to an external God. So the reclamation of our godly nature is part of that unification of the whole, to recognize the interconnectivity of ourselves here on this planet with one another. But again, we don't surrender our intuition and our ability to discern. I think that's part of the curiosity and bordering on humor at the absurdity of it all, you know. Yeah. And there's something about, like, we think we know people, but we don't. We're only perceiving people through our personal lens. Hence our ability to see from many different perspectives and to be in a neutral, loving space. I'm not attached to any of my own projections. I just try to come back into love and compassion and forgive myself as one with other for the entirety of the experience. Right? And so I can keep coming back into love as I energetically harmonize any and all grievance or tension in the field. And that's the alchemical emotional work, right? And that's, in essence, a huge part of our power into mastery, that we're not controlling. People make choices, we let go, right? And yet we don't compromise our integrity. So for some people, when that choice is made, it's made, we're done. We let go. But we don't need to hold the grievance of the experience. We alchemize it, we transform it. We know it was part of our experience, we work through it. And of course, we're not here to compromise ourselves. Thus, we would never want to compromise other, right? As in, we wouldn't force other people to do anything. People make choices. That's honoring the divinity in every soul. Something about clear communication. We're moving, okay, that's kind of cool. So, following our passion to achieve the North Node. And remember that there's always two sides. We don't let go of the South Node. We integrate the South Node. We move through it. We live through it. We master it, right? And then through the mastery of the South Node, we then are able to move into that North Node energy. Obviously, you need to know where your nodes are, but that's where we are. So the achievement of Capricorn is like an aspect of getting to the top of your mountain, mastering your South Node energy to then follow your passions, even if it feels like you don't know what direction that is, but you're following the stuff that lights you up, which is moving you towards the North Node. Or we're going to leave it there, my lovers. Have a great week ahead. Let me know if that resonates with you guys, and keep looking after yourselves. I know that certainly with the Patreons here, that so many of you are living in alignment, relating to nature, hugging trees, moving through very profound energies. And if you think you know anyone who would benefit from these forecasts or these weekly updates, share the love. Let them know that the Patreon community is here and there's a free trial, or feel free to share the videos, the book, the courses, all that stuff. And mostly look after yourselves, stay grounded, my loves, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace out.